Hey there, welcome to Broadband Deployment News. So USDA has opened up an application window for $27 million from their Community Connect program for broadband. I'll be right back with the details. Thanks for joining me. Rick Husey here with Broadband Deployment News. So I wanted to take you through this. This just opened up the other day. So this is in the Federal Register, and it's the Notice of Funding Opportunity for $27 million through, as I said, the USDA. So this is through their RUS program or their Rural Utility Service program. It's the same one that does USDA Reconnect. This is their Community Connect grant program. So it's $27 million. And it's funny how little that sounds like when we're talking about billions in some of these other programs, and certainly the BEAD program coming up, $42+ billion. But here we're talking about $27 million. That can go a long way. And actually, if you are an internet service provider, or if you are a state, if you're a town, if you're anybody that lives in a quote rural area, which is really not that rural, then this is money that you can apply for. So I'll go through the details right now. And we'll also take a look at the map, which will show you that a lot of areas can actually apply for this. You don't need to be really out in the sticks. There's lots of areas that, well, I guess maybe it is the sticks, I don't know, but certainly not in an urban area, but there's lots of areas that can apply. You see here is a Notice of Funding Opportunity for fiscal year 2023. And I'm just going to page through this and just cover some highlights just so you can kind of get a quick overview of what this is. And in the description of this video, I've linked to this Notice of Funding Opportunity specifically, and I've got links to the website that I'll look at and a link to the map that I'll look at. So that's all down in the description. So you see here the agency has approximately, did I say 27 million? 79 million. For fiscal, or maybe this one's just 27 million. I'll have to look back at that. I'm not sure where I got 27 from. Dates, completed applications for grants must be submitted electronically by no later than 11:59 a.m. Eastern Time, June 20th, 2023. So you've got till June 20th to really get an application in. Let's see, I'm just going to go over here to the left part of this document. So rural development key priorities. So they got 3 key priorities. Assisting rural communities to recover economically through more and better market opportunity and through improved infrastructure, ensuring all rural residents have equitable access to RD programs and benefits from RD-funded projects, and reducing climate pollution and increasing resilience to the impacts of climate change through economic support to rural communities. So that's a throwaway, in my opinion. It's basically it's to get broadband in these areas. Program description. The program provides financial assistance to eligible applicants that will provide service at or above the broadband grant speeds to all premises in rural, economically challenged communities where broadband service does not exist. And actually, if you look at their website, it mentions 10.1, I think, but that's apparently older because this particular document mentions anything less than 25/3, which is kind of the standard that we're looking at for BEAD as far as unserved. See, and this is 3 columns, so I'm heading back up. Federal award information, type of award, these are grants. The minimum award amount is $100,000. The maximum award amount is $5 million. The anticipated award date, September 2023. So again, it ends, application window closes June 20th, and the anticipated award date is September 2023. Performance period, 3 years. Renewal or supplemental awards. Why did I highlight that? I think I just highlighted that by mistake. So anyway, eligible applicants. And again, pretty much open to anybody. So you see here, incorporated organization, Indian tribe or tribal organization, state government, local unit of government, any other legal entity, including a cooperative, private corporation, or limited liability company organized on a for-profit or non-profit basis. So really pretty much anybody other than an individual. So if you're a company, town, city, state, tribal organization, co-op, you can apply for these things. This includes basically the territories of the U.S. So you got Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa, etc. Are all included in that. As far as when it talks about a state. Cost sharing and matching. So there's a match. Program requires matching contribution. I looked that up, and you can see here, I just put on here the note, equal to at least 15% of the grant. And it can be in-kind contributions. So if you look up, you can Google, I don't have a link to it, but you can Google this particular number here and put matching contribution, and you can get the details on the types of in-kind contributions, for example. Proposed funded service area. The applicant must define a contiguous geographic area located entirely within an eligible rural area in which broadband service does not exist and where the applicant proposes to offer service at the broadband grant speed to all residential and business customers. So again, these are rural areas, and I'll pull up here in a minute what constitutes a rural area. Actually, I think I have it down at the bottom of this, and then I will pull up the map later and you can actually take a look at it. So mentions here, these areas having no broadband access that is less than 25 meg by 3 meg up. The broadband grant speed is 100 by 20. So if it's less than 25 by 3, it's unserved, and you have to provide at least 100 by 20 to those areas. The area must not overlap with service areas of current RUS borrowers and grantees. So obviously there's a grantee here, you can't go there. Areas receiving or areas that have received final approval for other federal funding are also ineligible. So if you had ARPA funds, for example, something like that, that's ineligible. Again, I'm not going here to the left. The applicant must propose to offer free service. So these are some requirements here. Essential community facilities. The applicant must propose to offer free service at the broadband grant speed to all participating essential community facilities located within that area for at least 2 years. And they also, for community centers, the applicant must provide a community center within the area with a minimum of 2 and up to 10 computer access points and wireless access at the broadband grant speed, free of all charges to all users for at least 2 years. So again, those are some things that you need to provide if you're going to take this money. Prior to official submission of applications, applicants may request technical assistance or other application guidance from the agency as long as such requests are made prior to the closing of the application window. I remember seeing, I don't know if I have it, maybe I'll be able to find it while I'm on live here, but I remember seeing a link to a couple of webinars that are coming up, including one that's just coming up in a couple of days about this. So if I can't find that during this broadcast, I'll go back into the description and link that as well. RUS will not fund projects in an area that does not meet the definition of rural areas found in this particular notice here. And you can see I went into that notice, and that would be a city or town with more than 20,000 inhabitants or a densely populated area and contiguous and adjacent to a city or town that has a population of greater than 50,000 inhabitants. There's a lot of the area of the country that meets that. So like I say, lots of areas could be eligible for this. It should be noted that an application receiving fewer points, talk about scoring in here. It does talk about scoring, we're not there yet. It should be noted that an application receiving fewer points can be selected over an application receiving more points in the event that there are insufficient funds available to cover costs of the higher scoring application, or if the higher scoring application would consume a disproportionate amount of funds available relative to its ranking. So I'm trying to think if I missed the scoring section. Maybe, but I'll pull up a page here in a minute that shows that if I did. So let's continue on. So annual project performance activity report. You got to file one of those. That may be everything I had highlighted in here. It looks like it is. So yeah, let me go to the scoring. I didn't highlight in the section where that is, but there is scoring for this, and I did link to this. So this will, let's make this bigger. I'll link to it so you can check it out, but you can see the different things that they score for. So you've got economic characteristics, educational challenges, healthcare and needs, public safety issues, and some others, extent of the project's planning, level of experience, past success, these kinds of things. And we've got these factors here: persistent poverty, out-migration communities, rurality, how rural is it of the PFSA, those kinds of things. So again, I'll link to that. You can check that out. So there's also the page here for the Community Connect program. There's a lot of good information up here. And for example, there's a fact sheet. Let me open that in a new tab because it will not do that otherwise. Oops, there we go. So you can see, again, what's an eligible area? How can the funds be used? How do we get started? Other requirements, those kinds of things. And then it looks like there's links to some of these. I didn't see that earlier, but there's a link to that particular, what governs this program, the full thing there. So there's that. Also on here, which I thought was very interesting, there's the application, of course, the program overview, mapping tool. So I will open that as well. So this is a nice tool I have up here. So let me make this bigger. I'm gonna make myself bigger here. There we go. Me smaller, this bigger. So we've got our, these are all checked here. So this is showing, basically this map is showing fiscal year 2022 congressionally directed spending. Non-rural areas are yellow. Pending applications, the red color. Then you've got tribal areas in this kind of orangish color here. We've got tribal areas in Alaska, which would be up that way, the blue. And we've got tribal statistical area in light green, like this. And then we've got tribal supplemental areas in this purple, so smaller areas. But you can zoom in on this map and get a feeling for, again, you can see what's not eligible. So again, if I'm looking at my state, Georgia, I've got all of these areas around Metro Atlanta, surprisingly, are not eligible, but you've got lots of areas in between that are. So you see that this red again is this red is pending application areas. So these are areas that are off the map, so to speak, because of that, because these are areas that are pending. But all of this other area, all these other areas look like they are fair game. So as I zoom in here, you know, there's lots of areas that in Georgia that, or Alabama or anywhere else like that, where you've got a lot of rural areas, and again, smaller towns, so they don't exceed the threshold required for not being eligible. So that's good to know. So again, this is something where if you, again, are pretty much any entity would be eligible. If you're a company, if you're a small city or town, if you are a state, you could get the funds and then subgrant that, and that I would assume, because they do mention states as well, and again that includes territories. If you're a not-for-profit like a EMC, Rural Electric Co-op, then you can get that as well. So anyway, that's 27 million. Doesn't sound like a lot. It's a lot of money. It doesn't sound like a lot when we're talking about billions in some of these programs, but there's a lot that can be done with that. So I would encourage anybody that is looking to deploy broadband and maybe would like to possibly get some money, since these awards will be taking place as early as September. If you want to get some money prior to BEAD, this would be something good to apply for. So thanks for joining me. If this was helpful, interesting, if you'd give me a like on the video, I'd appreciate it. And click the subscribe button to be subscribed, and click the little bell to be notified. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.